what's up? It's Angela, and thank you for joining the Exodus group. Today we have a very powerful show. I hope it'll be a powerful show today because it is Father's Day, or just Father's Day just passed. And I had a little bit of a revelation this past Father's Day, and I want to share it with you guys. As you know, I am currently being shunned, and yeah, it hurts. These holidays, these Hallmark holidays do really hurt. If you're on my Instagram page at JW Exodus Group, you can see the video I shot for my mother on Mother's Day. And I think I shot one for my father on Father's Day. And, you know, for those who are newly shunned, being shunned the hurt really never goes away, but it does get better, and that your life just gets better and you take your power back. And that's what the Exodus group is here to help you do, is empower you as you leave, and support you as you leave the Jehovah's Witness religion and other religions who are the strong religions, the ones who are tightly held, tightly knit religions. I like to call those religions high and controlled religions. So if you're leaving a high control religions, please look us up. We're on Instagram right now, but our website will be up soon. So today we have a special guest. My brother, my big brother, I call him that. He is Tamel Waters. He's a youth minister at the church. And I brought him on today because I had a lot of questions about the prodigal son testimony that I heard at church this weekend. So welcome, Tamel. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you? How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you. Both our birthdays just passed. So happy birthday,
yes.
Big brother.
Happy birthday. That's the big sister, all the sisters.
Okay. So, Tamel, I had you on this discussion today because something hit me at church this weekend on Father's Day. Mm-hmm. The teaching of the prodigal son was the one that was taught on Father's Day. And as you guys know, I actually do blood pressures, and I'm a nurse there at the church. So I happened to be there at the church this weekend, and I was nursing, but it was really interesting to me about this prodigal son testimony. I guess I'll start from what I was raised with, okay? So, backstory. Tamel is one of those brothers I gained after I left the organization, you guys. So, therefore, when I say you're going to get a lot of family after you leave, just be open to it. Find people, and you get a brother like him. Anyway, I love you. So, the way that I was taught, Tamel, is that the prodigal son testimony comes up like this. And I'll probably read something from the Watchtower organization after I finish shooting this video. But the prodigal son testimony was like something like this. The son goes out, leaves his father or what have you. And the long and short of it is that he left Jehovah. He left God's true organization at the time. After that, he went through all this BS. He was hungry. He was starving. He wasn't able to be fed. He was out there sleeping with the cows. And finally, he came back to Jehovah's true organization, and his father took him back in. So the way that Jehovah's Witnesses tell a story is that he came back to God, to Jehovah, in order for him to receive his father's love again. The way that the church had it this weekend was a completely different story, to the point where I almost started crying in the middle of the service. In that, yes, the son did decide to go his own way, but he felt like he could do a better job. That he wanted to do something that empowered himself, that he wanted to do something that, you know, we all do. I know for me personally, when I left for Atlanta, I fell on my face a couple of times, but I knew I could get better in Atlanta. He left to go do this better thing. He ended up sleeping with the cows and what have you, and he came back to his father. But the story that the church told us that his father had a position in the government, not in the church, that he could have left. He could have lost by talking to his son. So therefore, the father didn't care that he could have lost his position. He still took his son in. And those are
Yes.
two different, completely different stories. Because
Yeah.
in one story, you have to come back to this particular thing for me to accept you. In this story, I'm going to accept you no matter what the cost. So, Tamel, help me understand this prodigal son story and which one does Christianity really do teach?
Um, it's definitely, well, Christianity definitely teaches the one that you heard on Sunday.
Okay.
Um, well, it's supposed to. I mean,
Post it
there's a
one
lot
more
of
time. I can't
layers.
see your face.
Uh, uh,
Hold up. Do
a
that
lot of
again.
layers. Story.
Repeat that. I didn't catch you.
You got it? You hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I think take the headset off. That might be a problem. There's a lot of layers to the story that 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 a lot of people don't investigate, don't tell. But yeah, one of them is the Jewish traditions of the time. So like once his son was uh, had left, you know what I mean, had left the family, had left his father's house, he did become considered an outcast. And because of that, yeah, it affect like he's shunned not just by the family, but he's shunned by the nation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like if his father talked to him, that was a big deal. You know what I mean? That was
Of
like
course.
on all the tradition, on everything. Yeah. So
But see,
that was
okay,
the way
so
it was.
that with that part, the shunning from the nation, that's one thing that Jehovah's Witnesses do already. They use the story
Mm-hmm.
to have you shun your own family members. Like my mother and my parents, as you know, haven't talked to me in years. Like
Right. Right.
years. And this is a
Right.
story that we grew up with, meaning that if you go against God's true organization,
Mm.
we're going to turn our backs on you, period. And this is the main story that they come up with
Mm.
to
Justify.
justify, thank you, the
Mm-hmm.
shunning policy. So what is like this? Explain to us the story that the Christian church actually does teach.
It's just supposed to be more a story of forgiveness, of mercy, of grace. You know, that the son leaves to do his own thing. Basically, just to like paraphrase, the son does go and leave to do his own thing, but the father takes him back in spite of the son's situation, in spite of the fact that the son left. As a matter of fact, in the story, it says that he kills the fatted calf. He gives his son a signet ring. He celebrates him coming back. He rejoices with him coming back, and he completely forgives him and forgets about everything that he did on his own. So it wasn't about the father actually never shuns his son. You know what I mean? He was never in a place to shun his son. He actually would look and wait and be watching for him to come back. He was just always watching for his son, always cared about his son. So we teach more as a story of forgiveness, not as a reason or an excuse to shun somebody because of the tradition. But that was the thing when Jesus was telling the story. He was always about breaking traditions. That he was never about just flowing with traditions. He was always breaking traditions, and that's why they were always ready to kill him too.
Right.
So that was the major part of the story.
That
Was
brings tears to my.
again,
Say it again.
yeah.
Say it again.
Which part?
What were you about to say?
Oh, no, just saying. Yeah, it was about it was like I said, it's just a story about forgiveness, grace. One of the things about God's grace that we teach is that the way I see it is like this: grace is insanity to human beings.
What do you
We
mean by
can't
that?
because the way God's grace works is that no matter what we do, the definition of insanity by human standards is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Correct.
And God's grace kind of works that way, where He's constantly, giving us grace over and over and over, expecting us to eventually get change and to come back and be, redeemed back to Him. And we can't understand that as human beings, because to us that's insanity, but to God that's how His grace works on an insane level, where He'll constantly over and over and over again be willing to forgive us, be willing to be there for us, be willing to catch us. No matter how much we do the same things over and over again, He's still ready and waiting to for us to change and for us to come back to Him. So it's almost beyond human comprehension how wonderful God's grace is, and how loving He is.
So that as you explain the prodigal son story to me and understanding God's grace, it
Mm-hmm.
brings tears to my eyes, because a lot of times growing up, there were just so many rules. We're constantly taught to make Jehovah happy, or does this please Jehovah, or does this make Jehovah happy? And most of these rules that Jehovah has are rules for the 1970s, 1950s. They're older, dated rules
Yeah.
that may not apply in most people's lives today. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, like even with this policy of shunning, the Watchtower organization didn't practice this stuff until maybe in the I can't remember, it was 50s or the 80s. I can't remember, but it's pretty recently, where it was
Right.
the 80s, and when they actually started beginning to actually shun people, cut them completely off. And
Mm-hmm.
to teach this story in a way that is not in line with the Bible, and to actually change the Bible because their version of the Bible says it in this way, hurts. It makes me question. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, it made me question God, because you created me this way to be what have you. I have a lot of gay, lesbians, and queers on the show. I mean, on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're lesbian, gay, what have you, and God made you this way, but then you're being told that you're not supposed to be this way, and you're supposed to change, it just makes you question how God made you. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show today, because just that testimony of the prodigal son, the new understanding it, and how the Watchtower organization switched it around to benefit them, is really eye-opening to me and really amazing.
I'm sure they switch a lot of things over to benefit.
Oh, we're gonna have
The
you on the show
organ.
again. So when I get up I think about some more things that we'll ask questions for.
Yeah, I'm sure they switch a lot of things over. I mean, the church as a whole, I think, struggles with what love really is. You know, I think because if we got love right, we would get God right, because God is love. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I think because no one has got love 100% right, no one has God 100% right. No, I don't think anyone knows 100% the mind of God except for the Holy Spirit. And we can only tap into that. We can't even fully get all of that. You know what I mean? Paul says
Right.
we see just like a poor reflection in the mirror. But, once we're with Him, once we're with God, then we'll see everything clearly. I guess it's one of the benefits of heaven, is to be able to really fully come to a full understanding of things that our human minds just cannot comprehend right now. But I think God is above and beyond a lot of things that we're very petty with here on Earth. You know what I mean? The petty towards each other, petty towards certain things.
The petty party is real here, okay? The petty party
It's
is here. Most times I'm ready for it, but not this one.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's on both sides of the fence. Both religious and non-religious people are being petty. But again, it's because nobody fully understands what love is, and so we haven't been able to fully build that bridge. Um, as far as faith-based things are going, and it's really sad actually. Um, and what the problem with that is, then people then take advantage and start making up their own stuff, and or whatever accommodates them, or whatever makes them feel comfortable, or whatever brings in money, or brings in people which bring in money.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
Well, thank you for explaining that to us today. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your understanding or your interpretation of this. If you have another interpretation, please put it in the comments below. But I want to share this with my audience today, because this is one of those things that really, really opened my eyes to realize that Watchtower is not just lying to us about what Watchtower does, but actually changing scriptural doctrine. And for me personally, I have my own beliefs about the Bible itself, yes. But if this is from God, why are we going to change the whole thing around to fit a company? That just baffles me. If we're supposed to be following this one thing, we're going to change it around to benefit this company so that people stay in the company. That's like changing the Bible so that people only drink Starbucks. It sounds crazy, but it's, I don't know how else to put it, but
Yeah.
well, thank you, Tamel, for being on the show today. I wish you had
You're
gone longer.
welcome.
And if you need any help or look for more information, please give us a contact at the Exodus group. The email's right here. And I look forward to seeing you soon. You are stronger than you think. Thank you. Bye-bye.